everyone, welcome to Coach Dave Academy. This is Suellio Almeida. We're going to see my lap with the Porsche 911 at Monza. We're going to see the entire lap and then we're going to talk about corner by corner. Alright, so going into turn 1, the first thing that we need to figure out immediately is the braking reference for having a perfect entry. This car takes a long time to slow down, so you are going to focus on that, because if you brake a little bit later, you end up losing the entire corner, and that's a lot of time. So for me here, it's the beginning of these little plants here. Of course, make sure you don't brake a little bit too late, like when the rears go by the plants, or when the center of the car goes by the plants. So basically, you want to figure out what part of the car is going by the plants by the time you start to brake. So think about that. I generally think mostly only about the end front of the car or the back end of the car going through a braking reference, because the car is going so fast that just these two adjustments are already very precise. So braking around 85 to 90%, and then very, very slowly releasing as we lose a little bit of downforce. This car pretty much has almost no downforce, especially here we have like zero wing. So I'm releasing very, very little. It's you can pretty much maintain the pressure and it would not do anything. In this case here, pay attention to how hard you brake initially and how quickly you start braking, because any micro locking will really, really hurt your cornering performance. So make sure you're listening to the tires, to the sound of the tires, you're braking, and you're trying to prevent any kind of micro locking, especially on entry actually, because when you start turning here, you don't want to have any kind of locking, because then as soon as you start locking, say the front here, the car's gonna start understeering here because it's gonna overheat the surface of the tires, and then it oversteers here. Now generally when we lock the tires turning in, it's the inside one, right? So let's say we lock up this tire here, the front right. This tire will be used to change direction here, because now when we change direction, that is the one that really like gets all the load to turn the car to the left. So if this tire, the tire that we need, is overheated, then the car understeers a lot here and we lose a lot of time on the exit of this corner. So make sure you don't have any micro locking. Of course, see how much I'm using here. This is pretty much the limit. If you use a little bit more than that in terms of track limits, you will get a slowdown. So make sure you cut pretty much until you get some sort of slowdown in practice, so you can really see how much you can use. And on this one here, for me, it's ideal to just not use the curb, the sausage curb, because the car jumps a little bit too much and we cannot really put the power down. Then going for the second, we have some differences. The first difference is that, well, we are going to brake right under the bridge. And I'm going to cut this first apex also a lot, as you can see here. That's a lot. But then on the change of direction, in this case, we actually do use the sausage here. I'm going to change direction and I'm going to attack the sausage curb. Just make sure you don't do more than that because you can get an off track very easily here. So make sure the center line of the car is not on top of the sausage curb. What you want to do is have the center of the car still on the painted curb. Then you're going to be good. And of course, when the car lands, it's going to probably bounce twice. As you can see here, one bounce now and then the second. Okay. So make sure you wait for the bounce before you really try to turn the car too much. When the car is bouncing, it's good to go straight. If it's bouncing and you're turning, it can snap very, very quickly. So make sure you pay attention to that. And then for this one, this is a very, very late apex. So make sure you're not braking too hard or too early. So I do brake, say 60% here. And then I'm already trail braking. I'm carrying as much speed as I can. So I delay my apex. And then I wait. I don't see anything here on the inside. Just the curb, right? The guardrail. Oh, wait a second. We have the access road here. This access road is my reference to see where I am on the corner, especially because the corner is very long. So I want to pay attention to this because it gives me an idea of when I'm going to get back on power. Then we go all the way to the outside here. Just make sure you don't have 4 tires on the green or touching the gravel because that gives you an off track. And also on this one here, this one is a shorter one. So what I want to do is really kind of get back on power and on exit. There's a lot less grip than mid corner, right? So here we have lots of grip, camber. When you get back on power, the car starts losing the rear because we are falling a little bit. The track gets back to flat, so it feels like a compression. It feels like a crest, sorry, to the car. And then the car will have a lot less grip. So make sure you have very light hands going on the exit and really allow the car to pretty much use almost all of the green here. Just make sure you don't have fully 4 tires on the green. Then we go to Ascari. This one is tricky. We're going to brake a little bit before the bridge, unlike the second chicane. And this time, we're going to try to cut as much as we can without getting off track here. So that would be the center of the car still on the curb. As soon as the center of the car hits the black and yellow curbs, you end up getting off track. So I actually could have used a little bit more on this one. I missed by 1 tire. And then here you change direction, you upshift to 4th quite early so you can keep a little bit of the rotation. And when you change direction, same thing here. You just don't want to have the center of the car on the other curb, the inside curb. But on the painted one, it's all good. And then on the outside here, just make sure you still have 2 tires touching the white line here. That's pretty much the limit for me there. If I went a little bit more, I would get an off track. And then for Parabolica, it's really about the exit for this car, actually. So you want to save the rears on entry, save the fronts on entry, and really try to get the best exit possible without overheating the tires. I'm going to brake at the beginning of the green painted part on the outside here, and then we're going to trail brake very lightly and very patiently. We're going to get back on power and really light hands, let the car run all the way to the outside without overusing any of the tires, because you really need to take care of the tires in Parabolica, because that is really where you end up destroying the tires over the stint of a long race. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I will see you next week. Bye.